Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our play of Hotel California by Marin S. A really wonderful, surreal horror game. We have a great crew here, so we are going to go around and introduce ourselves. I'll start. I am Alex. I use he, him pronouns, and today I will be playing Isabel, who uses she, her pronouns. And going around, we can have Whitney go next.
Hi, I'm Whitney. I use she, her, hers, and I am playing Miranda Jones, who's a fresh college grad who uses she, her, hers as well.
Perfect. Danielle?
Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle. I use she, her pronouns, and so does my character today, who's Amelia Davies, a slightly out of time displaced Victorian lady.
Amazing. And Al?
Hey, my name is Al, and my pronouns are they, them. And today I'm going to be playing One Penny, an anomaly that manifests itself as knots of cotton in ceiling corners and like the noise a hiccuping toddler makes.
So good.
Its pronouns are its.
Very cool. All right. So we are today going to be raising money for Extra Life charity. I believe currently we are at about $505. We are hoping to get up to the spookiest number, 666. So donate, and that will be great. You can type !Extra Life in the chat, and you will get all sorts of useful information about that. We also, since we are playing a horror game, the nicest number, 690, exactly. that's our real goal. Additionally, since we are playing a horror game, we are going to have some content warnings. So you can type, what was our thing again? I'm sure it will come up in just a second. !CWs. Check out CW. There you go. That will give you the information about what we might be coming up against in our game. Hopefully, we will have a nice, safe environment for everyone. We'll also be using some safety tools as we play. Also, this game is really cool. If you type !checkout, then you can see the itch.io page for the game, which is absolutely so fun, and I recommend that everyone goes and buys 7 copies of it immediately. So, to jump us into the game, if everyone can open up their PDFs, I think we should go through and read the little setting bit at the start on page 1. And if this sounds cool to everyone, I think it'll be fun to just sort of go around in our same clockwise order, and we can each do like a paragraph till we get through it. So I can start. Oh, this is such a good game. All right. Welcome to the Hotel California, the world's only hotel completely removed from time and space. We are proud to host guests of all time periods and alternate dimensions, manifesting wherever desperate and weary travelers need us most. No matter who you are, or where or when you're from, your room will be ready just as soon as you step in the door. Please do not be alarmed if your room suddenly shifts floors or several doors to the left. This is simply the hotel rearranging itself to create more vacancies. Our rates are flexible, so please, pay as much as you can afford.
Our amenities include an outdoor courtyard and pool, an indoor gym and day spa, a ballroom for conferences, an arcade and billiards room, several restaurants, the boiler room, the room with blood-covered walls, the library, a parlor and billiards room, an in-house drugstore, the famous McKitty murder room, an indoor croquet court, a presidential suite, a sports bar and billiards room, vending machines, and ice machines. Please note that the outdoor courtyard and pool are closed until further notice. All doors to the outdoor courtyard and pool have been locked indefinitely. Please notify the staff if the doors to the outdoor courtyard and pool are breached.
Our staff pride themselves on being on call 24/7. If you find something not to your liking, feel free to ring the night manager at the front desk, and they will try their best to accommodate you. Please note that we will not be accepting any further calls inquiring as to the whereabouts of the day manager. The investigation is ongoing, and we have no more information to release at this time.
The Hotel California is newly renovated for the 2020 season, hoping to address recent reviews of the establishment of being haunted and sincerely uncomfortable to pass the time in. While we cannot comment on the veracity of these views, we have removed wireless internet and cell phone service from hotel grounds to help our guests appreciate the amenities here even more than before. If you have constructive criticism, make sure to fill out a feedback slip at the front desk.
Please enjoy your indefinite stay at the Hotel California. What's that? A checkout time? Well, you're free to check out whenever you'd like. Whether the hotel chooses to let you leave, however, well, that's a different matter entirely. Oh, that was so fun. I love hearing everyone's customer service voices. Very good. All right. So next, we will... the way this game works, since this may not be familiar to some of our viewers, it is a hack of Mobile Frame Zero Firebrands by Mege and Vincent Baker, which is an absolutely amazing game. I've made a hack of it myself. It's just so good. Each player will be picking a mini game from a whole assortment of different little games that we can play, and picking the players they want to play with them. They'll be turning to that game, playing through it. Some of them are even one-player games you play by yourself. And when you aren't playing, then the other players can be asking questions about what's going on in the world, helping to flesh out details. So our objects of this game are to create messy entanglements and inject surreal horror into the everyday. The tagline is, fight with friends, kiss your doppelganger, ally with someone shady, find yourself in a hotel corridor that stretches farther than the length of the entire building, etc., etc. So we are going to do a bunch of weird, cool stuff, and it'll be great. We'll be going around the table clockwise, I guess, and so that's what we've been doing to pick those games. But before we do that, we will be looking over... we've already talked through some safety tools. We've got lines and veils set up. As always, when you are playing any game, but especially horror games, make sure that everyone is on the table and having a good time at all times, because that's great. Again, if you are in the chat, you can type !checkout CW to see our content warnings for what might come up in the game. And we will also be, of course, always asking for consent before portraying any acts of violence or aggression that impact other characters if we get into a fight or anything like that, or if one of us is a horrible monster, or if one of us becomes a horrible monster over the course of the game. That's fine. We'll just be cool and nice about it. The game also has very lovely built-in prompts that are all very consent-based, which is one of the things I really love about the Firebrand system. So we've already made our characters, and if we scroll down to the backgrounds on page 6, why don't we go through using the questions there and what you've got in the Character Keeper to tell us a little bit about your characters. And we can start with... we don't want to be going first every time. We'll have Amelia go first with Danielle. Or the other way around, excuse me.
All right.
Have your character introduce you, please.
So I am playing Amelia Davies, and she is a guest, which is one of the 3 different types of characters. So as a guest, she was scooped up and displaced in time. So she is from the Victorian era, where she was a lady. And she was... The questions are, what were you running from when you stumbled on the hotel? Amelia was running from an arranged marriage. And especially an arranged marriage to a man, when she was in love with a woman named Elsie. And she has been a guest for at least 100 years, but she's lost track a little bit of how long she's been here. The hotel has not let her go. And obviously, what she misses most is Elsie, her long-lost love.
That's so good. And what are your 3 traits?
My 3 traits are... Hang on a second. I've got to find where I put the keeper. Okay. Stubborn, scrappy, and brave.
So good. And we also have a little checkbox for whether our characters are open for romance or not. And I guess there's No reason not to share that publicly? Sure. I mean, don't if you want it to be a surprise to the audience or something.
Amelia is definitely open for romance, clearly.
Perfect. And that is something that we can change at any time as we're playing. That's something players can freely toggle on and off as they go, which is not an official rule in Hotel California itself. That's something I put in my Firebrand's Hack Dragon Hearts, and I thought we might as well port that over here as well because it's handy. So, who would like to go next and tell us about their character?
I can go since I'm the other guest
Perfect.
in this group. My character's name is Miranda Jones. She is a recent college graduate, so 22 years old-ish, from a prestigious university in the eastern United States. University is unnamed. Just a quick aside, this character came up for me immediately because I recently rewatched Gilmore Girls, so that's where it's from.
Nice.
But she is she's a journalism major graduate who believes she is staying in this hotel comped to produce a piece for a travel magazine. So to answer the questions for guests for the hotel, what were you running away from when you stumbled upon the hotel? Well, she thinks she was running towards something, which is this glorious new future, but really running away from like the capitalist hellscape of postgraduate job hunting. I'm also personally I was a journalism grad right after 2008, so also a lot of personal experience in this. How long she's only been in the hotel for a couple days, I would say, so much shorter than Amelia. And she doesn't really miss anything about where she's from yet, except, you know, like being able to be a student and be carefree. The 3 traits that I chose for her out of the list that it presented were nosy, arrogant, and naive.
What a good combo.
A+.
Oh, perfect.
I can't wait to haunt you.
I'm ready.
All right, and yeah, I'll go next as the staff, and then we can have our anomaly go last. So my character's name is Isabel. Her last name is redacted, because I feel like that's just kind of how the hotel does. After a while, you just sort of start losing little bits of your past as you work there. So Isabel is a billiards attendant, presumably very overworked because there are 3 different billiards rooms. She is moderately burned out, just trying to get through the day, you know, having a good time as much as you possibly can, which is only sort of, and trying to not think or talk about or remember her past. My traits are pleasant, exhausted, and mysterious. And for my questions, how did you come to be employed at the hotel? I think that she probably had like a really dead end customer servicey job that she really didn't like and was just sort of going through the motions, going to work like you do, and then one day came into work and it was just this job instead, and she was like, okay, sure, whatever, and just kept working it. So she just sort of gradually phased into the hotel like that. What part of the hotel do I refuse to be in alone or at night? I think that is the... What do I want to say? I think the grand ballroom you do not want to be in alone. It's okay when there's lots of people and bustling and dancing and things, but not by yourself. And what do I do in my downtime? I haven't thought about that one yet. I think that I really like movies. I think she likes finding out different movies from different time periods and like things that guests have in their luggage and stuff, and talking about movies with people. That way we get to make up fake movies to talk about for our game, which seems fun. All right. And last we have our anomaly.
Yeah, I'm playing One Penny, an anomaly that has been at the hotel for a long time. It won't let the hotel go. Some people say that the hotel won't let you go. One Penny is obsessed with the hotel. My questions are, what sights, smells, and sounds herald your appearance? And the sights are cotton in ceiling corners, and the sound of hiccuping, and the smell of blood, I think, coppery.
Nice.
What member of the staff is not afraid of you? The manager. The manager is not afraid of One Penny.
Nice.
Do you envy the guests or see them as your enemies? It's complicated. It's complicated. I'll just say that. So yeah, that's One Penny.
That's great.
Oh, the traits. The traits are slithering, distorted, and possessive.
Amazing. All right. So the next thing we'll do is we are each going to play In the Air Tonight, which is also known as a solitary dream. That'll be on page 9 of your PDF. Fireground games tell you to play this game by yourself quietly, because we're on a stream. Why don't we play it out loud instead? That seems more fun for everyone who is watching. So what we will do is go through and pick one of the prompts from this dream. There'll be a sort of a prompt, and then you'll have a couple different choices for how that goes. And you can give us a little bit of surreal imagery for that. You know, don't go on for 10 minutes or anything, but you can talk about a cool little dream vignette that you've been dreaming about as much as you like. And then we will say, most importantly, because of that dream, there's something about you, some detail of your mood, appearance, goals, or actions that everyone might notice. You'll decide what that is and tell everybody what it looks like. And anyone can go first. We can go in any order for this. So just check out the prompts there and then decide what you want your weird dream to be. I'm glad that everyone is already terrified of One Penny in the chat.
So I looked at this because I saw it was supposed to be part of the setup, and I've already kind of glommed onto one thing that I wanted to do to piggyback off of just the introduction of the concept of the character. And I've been dreaming the last couple nights since I've been in the hotel. I've been dreaming of a phone call.
Ooh.
And what happens is my smartphone, it's a couple versions behind, so I don't have like whatever the newest iPhone is. But it will light up with a blocked number, and every time I go to answer it, the call like hisses for like half a second and then goes dead. And this happens over and over and over and over and over again until I wake up. And part of what makes it particularly anxiety-inducing is that I'm on deadline, and I have been waiting for a source to call me back.
Oh.
And so I don't know, like, I've left a message at the source's office, but like they could be calling from any number. So like the blocked number isn't what bothers me. The fact that I can't get the phone call to connect, that I can't have the conversation that I feel like I need to have.
Oh.
So I've been waking up like with this drive to just do things, to like I have my to-do list and I need to like just knock those items out.
That's so good. All right. Anyone else have a dream?
I have been having insomnia lately. I haven't been sleeping.
Oh.
And staying up very, very late at night, reading or just trying to keep my mind off of things. But I've been hearing strange noises coming from the courtyard that we're not allowed to go to. And sometimes I think they sound like Elsie calling my name.
Oh.
And it keeps me up all night. And so I've developed these very dark shadows under my eyes. as I walk around during the daytime. I definitely look like someone who has not slept in weeks.
You've become a Tim Burton character.
I have become a Tim Burton character.
Yes, you're making your way. Cool.
That's so good. All right, so I think Isabel has been dreaming of a chase lately and realizing that I might want to be caught after all. So I think what this chase looks like is she's going through the hotel, and it's sort of like she's following after like someone who keeps turning the corner every time that she's turning, and she's like trying to, it starts out she's like trying to like stop a troublemaker or something, and then she realizes that someone is coming after her, and like it's this whole labyrinthine, getting chased around, like, but pretending like you don't know someone is following you. She's doing a lot of like walking and trying to pretend everything's normal and trying to like catch a glimpse of who's reflected behind her out of the corner of her eye. And the longer that this chase goes on, it sort of stops being like a fearful, afraid thing and kind of like an anticipation, curiosity thing, where she's like, okay, I have to know who is chasing me and why. Like, she's like, do I stop? Do I wait? And I think the dream ends when she like just stops in the middle of the hallway and starts to slowly turn her head. Before she can turn it around, she wakes up.
Juicy. So one penny doesn't dream, but they dream. And in their dream, one penny is bounding through the lobby on skittering little feet because they are a human child. And they can see the faceless shapes of what they know are parents. And one penny jumps and lands in their arms.
Oh.
Yeah, and it goes on loop. It plays backwards and then forwards, like a VHS.
Wow.
Yeah.
Backwards and forwards. That's extremely cool.
It's like a boomerang.
Yeah.
Nice. So if you would like to keep a little dream journal on your character keeper, you can just write a couple notes. You don't necessarily need to spell out everything, but you can type little notes for yourself, because you can play In the Air Tonight again, have another dream, and see how things change. And you'll just want to remember, any cool little details you thought up for later, because it's easy to forget. So the next thing we'll do is we will start our proper play, and you can check out the list of games, table of contents on page 8. The way that this game goes from now on is we can just pick whatever you want for... it's check out CW. Is the exclamation point. Yes, Shinobi has pointed out correctly. We've already had a time loop. Perfect. So you'll want to pick any of the games that you like from the list, and you can play it, and it'll be great. Whoever would like to can go first, and we will just keep track of who has gone in a round. We don't necessarily need to go around in an order. So whoever has an idea can grab a game, get into it, and play. No one has checked out yet, Viditya. We'll see how it goes. We may burn down the house later for our final game, or we might stay here. Who knows? So if anyone has an idea, you can rock and roll. I always love starting Firebrand's games with a dance, but that might be too on brand. We could do something else too.
I was looking at Hit Me With Your Best Shot since
Me too.
you're a billiards.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like there's enough billiards rooms that like we could all find ourselves in one.
Lots of different ones. Yeah, for sure. Cool. You can scroll down to that one on page 14 and check it out. If you would like to rock and roll, then you can read us the setup.
Okay, and I think I would suggest I want to play the first game with everybody, just because I want to give everybody a chance to dive in.
Perfect.
So the setup for this is set the scene with your chosen partners. Decide which billiards room you're in. I'll have to remind myself what the billiards rooms are.
Yeah, I should probably know that too.
There's an arcade and billiards room, there's a parlor and billiards room, and there is a sports bar and billiards room.
Nice.
So I would say the parlor.
Perfect.
Billiards room. Scroll back down to the game. It's on page 14, right?
Yeah.
Parlor and billiards room. And how we came to be playing a game together. I will say Miranda will have kind of wandered into the parlor, and she has like a legal pad and a pen with her, but like looks kind of lost, like she's been walking around the halls of the hotel. And she doesn't have a phone on her. She hasn't seen any pay phones. There's no internet. So she's just kind of like, what's up? The setup does say other players may join freely if it makes sense for you too. And we have a couple of questions to ask first, which is what you noticed about each other at first glance. Have any of us encountered each other before? What's the same? What's different? I will say I'll single out Isabel as hotel staff. Miranda would have noticed. Are you wearing some sort of uniform to indicate that you're staff?
Yes. I think everyone on the hotel staff wears really elaborate outfits that are like an old-timey bellhop outfit.
I imagine like a waistcoat.
Yeah, and they're in like a white cream sort of color with like gold accents and like gold buttons, so they're just very ostentatious looking.
Okay. Yeah, so she would Miranda, or I always have trouble deciding if I should use third person or first person, but I would notice these outfits on all of the staff, but also have noticed you in particular as being like, do you bartend in these rooms? Like, what does a billiards attendant do?
That's a good question. I think what I'm doing right now, so what you notice about me at first glance is that I am like demonstrating how to play billiards to people. I think that there's a like a chalkboard that says like today's billiards variant is, and it has crossed out like zero gravity billiards, and it says like 9-hole billiards. So I think that I am tiredly explaining the rules of 9-hole billiards to various people.
Okay. Yeah, would One Penny or Amelia join?
Amelia would definitely. This is the parlor in the billiards room, which is definitely like Amelia's home turf, so to speak. I think the hotel has changed a lot over the years as more modern amenities have become available, but Amelia tends to gravitate toward the things that are more familiar to her. So this is her favorite of the 3 billiards rooms.
Nice.
And so she's probably heard a lot of the tutorials at this point about all the different variations of billiards. And has lost interest a little bit. So she's sitting on, a chair or a couch of some kind.
Maybe there's a fainting couch.
Yeah, like a classic fainting couch. Yeah, and she is dressed. She's dressed for her period. So she's wearing like the high collared, like jacketed dress with the bustle and everything, which probably makes her stand out a little bit.
Nice. What color is her dress?
Her dress is dark blue.
Ooh.
How does she wear her hair?
She wears her hair very prim, like up in a nice little bun with like very old fashioned hairpins and everything. Like she looks extremely composed, except for the giant bags under her eyes, the indication that she is not sleeping.
And I have a question for Miranda. What do your shoes look like?
I would say like little half boots, like sensible, but not painful because she spends a lot of time on her feet, but not sneakers because she's trying to be professional.
Do they have heels?
Like tiny, like half-inch heels, like tiny little heels.
Interesting. Okay.
Nice.
And otherwise, she's dressed in like dark jeans, like nice jeans, and a blouse and a cardigan, like also of her time, but very nondescript.
So as everyone is here, One Penny sort of unruffles from within the third hole that it is currently nesting in the table. And a tendril raises up like a periscope. And from the end of the tendril blossoms a small watery eye that takes in the scene. And if it senses it's being observed, it sucks back into the hole.
That's so good.
I will say Miranda would like glance over and then be like, okay, I guess not.
What?
Yeah, and so I think I would walk up to the group of people that are like gathered around the chalkboard that you're teaching how to play.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Perfect.
kind of sigh dramatically.
Oh, and I think we have a little bit more rule stuff before we jump in and play. Do we want to read through playing billiards?
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to that when we got to whoever was actually going to be playing billiards. But yes,
Good point.
for the first turn, so this game has a list of questions, and for the first turn, everyone must decide on one question, which is called the break, to be answered by every character in the scene. We're supposed to number ourselves, then use a random number generator or a die to determine who will break first, and then we answer the question in a round. But whoever answers the break first is also the character who, in the scene, breaks on the billiards table. And then, this is a part of the game that we actually use the mechanics, where we go around, after the break, we go around clockwise. Each person flips a coin to see how many balls they sink. Heads for one, tails for two, and chooses that amount of questions from the list, asks them to any other player, and strikes them from the list, and we go around until we run out of questions on the list. You can also eliminate a question from the list by scratching, so it's not asked or answered. And then the end of the game happens if it's your turn and all questions have been struck from the list. You get the 8-ball, and you can ask an original question to further your own agendas to any other player.
Nice. And I will copy those over into our character keeper, which will hopefully work. I should have tried that earlier to see if we can easily cross those off there, since we do not have a physical piece of paper in front of us with them, as you would hope. Boop. Well, this may take a minute for me to format, but we can probably get going. So let's assign ourselves some random numbers. We'll do it in our same order, so I'll be 1. Isabel is 1, Miranda is 2, Nelia is 3, and One Penny is 4. So the first to break, according to my D4, is nobody, because I dropped it. It's 2. Miranda.
Oh, okay. So we actually all agree on a question to answer first.
Oh yeah, whoops.
And it's one that we all answer. I just go first.
Yeah, what do we all think is interesting for our question?
There should be one from the list on the next page, right?
Yeah.
What about the lights flicker and we feel the hotel shift around us while we play? How do you react?
Yes, I was just thinking that.
That seems perfect.
Okay. So I'll go first, which means I will instigate the actual game of billiards. So what Miranda does is she takes the notebook, the legal pad she's brought with her, and kind of tosses it to the side. It happens to land like on that fainting couch, daybed, chaise lounge, like right near your feet. And she's like, well, does anybody actually want to play pool, or are we just gonna talk about playing pool?
Amelia looks up from where this is like fallen at her feet on the chaise sounds, and then looks at Miranda, who is relatively new, and therefore Amelia probably hasn't seen her before. And she says, well, playing with some of these people here has gotten rather boring, but you look like you might be actually an interesting opponent.
Awesome.
Well, I haven't really played outside of frat parties, but I'm willing to give it a go because I haven't been able to get the internet to connect, and it's driving me insane. So, and also like at this point, she'll like get a cue from the wall, from the rack on the wall, and it's fun to me to think that the billiards table will like rack the balls up itself. Like she doesn't have to do it. She just like goes to get a cue and then turns around and it's ready.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think since we are playing 9-hole billiards, there is also an extra hole that's just like in the middle of the table, slightly off to the side, just sort of
is that the one that
yawning there?
No, one penny's in one of the normal holes.
Just a regular hole.
Just a regular hole. One penny has no idea where the other one came from. It's kind of weird.
I'd say like at this point is when the lights flicker. So the question is, the lights flicker and we feel the hotel shift around us while we play. How do you react? Miranda's reaction would just be to like feeling the hotel shift feels kind of like what she imagines an earthquake feels like. But she's from the east, so like she goes to break the pool balls, and then the ground kind of shakes a little bit, and she'll like turn to Amelia and be like, that happens a lot here, right? Like California gets all kinds of earthquakes.
Yes, it's quite normal here. And Amelia will hold out a hand to like help you crawl back out from like you're like stand back up and steady yourself. And
yeah, I stumbled a little bit. Like, yeah, I mean, tornadoes and hurricanes, sure, but earthquakes, man.
As the two women are steadying themselves, one penny pops out of its hole and skitters as quickly as it can across the table, and then turns to liquid and pours down the side. And then it goes to hide underneath the chaise lounge.
Amazing. As you do, casually.
And Amelia will pick up a cue as well, and but probably Isabel can see as Amelia turns to pick up the cue, the kind of eye roll, because Amelia's been here for so long that like that doesn't even faze her at all. Like she's used to it at this point.
That's great. You're used to seeing skittering things that turn into
like skittering things to the corner of my eye. Been there, done that.
Whatever.
Whatever.
And I think what happens with Isabel is that she is standing off to the side, and like has her hands clasped behind her back, has a very fixed like customer service smile pasted onto her face, and the lights flicker off and on just for a second. And just in that second, she is suddenly holding a billiards cue like behind her back, held out. Hasn't apparently moved at all, but the cue is just in her hands.
Ooh,
and she just like she just takes 1 second to like case the room real quick, and then just like, okay, I guess nothing's trying to eat me right now. Fine. You can't, she doesn't say that, but it's obvious from her expression. All right, so we have done our break, and now we will proceed clockwise around the table. So the next one to ask a billiards question will be one penny, and then Amelia, and then me.
Oh, is it one penny? Sorry, I just had a brain blip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternatively choose to scratch. and I'm going to scratch the question. I'm feeling expansive. What do you want to know about me?
Nice.
Secrets.
Secret. I'm made of secrets.
Oh, I know what I can do. Maybe if I just take a screenshot of these questions, then I can like cross them off in Paint or something. Will that work? Yeah, that'll work, right? Many Firebrands games are designed to be played in person, so it's a little bit interesting trying to figure out how to mess around with stuff so that you can do it online. All right, feeling expansive is crossed off, and the lights flicker is crossed off. There we go. Yeah, that works fine. All right. What do we got next? From... Oh, if anybody wants to have free-form reactions to stuff, then they can. We can just chat and have improvised conversation in between the prompts as well. That one, what does that look like? Is there any manifestation of you deleting the possibility of expansiveness from the room? There doesn't have to be.
I think one penny just flattens itself, and it seems to be looking kind of intensely at Amelia. And the camera sort of does a quick jolt back in time, and the viewers can see that its watery eye has been following Amelia the entire time. So yeah, it's kind of squishing itself and blinking wetly and looking at Amelia's skirts as they rustle about over by the table.
Cool.
The phrase blinking wetly just gave me a visceral reaction. In a good way.
Good, I think.
Nice. All right. So Amelia's turn.
Well, first of all, Amelia feels like she's being watched, but that's normal for
It's just regular.
for life in the Hotel California. So she just kind of pushes the awareness of that to the back of her mind and picks up her pool cue. And I am not going to scratch, so I am going to flip a coin to see how many balls I sink.
Nice.
Heads is 1. So I may choose that amount of questions from the list and ask them to any other player. Okay. I'm feeling generous. What favor do you ask of me? And I will put this to Miranda, since Miranda is new. So as Amelia sinks one of the balls into the pocket, very cleanly and neatly and primly, as you would expect of a Victorian lady, she will kind of turn her head to Miranda and say, you haven't been here long, have you?
No, I haven't. I mean, I want to say I got here, like Tuesday or maybe Monday? I mean, it's the first time that I've traveled alone, and the company comped my stay here, so I didn't have to use my parents' credit card, and I don't know what to do with myself now, because I feel like it's been a couple days, and I can't crack what the story is here.
Well, what do you want to know?
California. Well, you are you LARPing?
You LARPing.
What's this situation? Like, can
Uh,
you breathe okay? Like,
I can breathe fine. I can breathe just fine. Thank you for
okay.
your concern. No, I'm not LARPing. These are my normal clothes.
Oh. Well, what? So why are you staying in this particular hotel?
Well, I was. He thinks about it for a minute, how she wants to phrase things, someone she barely knows.
Actually, I've got, so one of my directives as staff is to keep the guests like ignorant and happy. So I could break in at that point and like, oh, here, let me show you this. Putting a hand on your shoulder and saying, what would I say to distract you from that? I would say, oh, it's so lovely to see you again. We just started restocking your favorite meal in the cafeteria again, and I thought you should know. It's going to be so lovely for having a nice breakfast later.
That's delightful, Isabel. Thank you. And then turns her head a little bit back toward Miranda and says, I was running from a man.
Interesting. And she'll let it go at that since she doesn't know you super well and she doesn't want to. She's nosy as hell, but doesn't want to pry too much right off the bat.
Yeah. Okay, I need to cross out what your question was. So you asked. What was the question we did on that?
It was, I'm feeling generous. What favor?
There we go. Thank you. Okay.
It kind of turned into I'm feeling expansive, but
It
I think
or it could have been I'm feeling nostalgic. What story from the past? You could interpret it as that one too.
Oh yeah, let's do that
my
one.
favor was gonna be asking you for your story anyway, so that works.
Interesting. I think I might do. I kind of I remind you of someone else you knew once. Who is that again? So I'm gonna pick that and pose that one to. Let's say Miranda as well. I like her. She's getting some main character spotlight for her first debut scene. So I come over and oh wait, I'll see how many I roll. Let's go. I get 2 questions. Interesting. Okay, so I'll do that one first. I come up to as the demonstrator, I need to show how billiards works, and I clearly do not have any ambition of winning this game or doing anything. I just hit the ball as hard as I can and send it ricocheting around.
It goes in that off-center hole.
Yeah. It just almost goes into the 9th hole and then just barely curves out of it. It clearly should have gone in, which is weird. And it just barely taps another one into a hole. So, and I'm not watching the ball the whole time. I clearly just do not care where it goes. But as I'm doing that, I happen to be up next to Miranda, so you get a better look at me and what I'm about. What do I look like? I think that she is Latina. She's probably looks somewhere around her late 20s, early 30s, that range where you're I don't care how old I am anymore. And she has probably fairly short, sort of wavy hair. And she looks both pleasant and extremely burned out of her job. But she gives you a nice smile as she happens to scooch over into your space a little bit to get that shot.
Pleasant and burned out of her job is actually perfect, because I was going to say she reminds me of my high school English teacher, and I went to public school.
Amazing.
That'll do it.
And it was the teacher that you have in freshman or sophomore year of high school that encourages you, and you always remember them. So that teacher, I'm trying to think of a name for her, but that teacher is the one that first gave Miranda really positive feedback and reinforcement on her writing.
That's
so
nice.
she's the reason that Miranda decided to major in journalism.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that that resemblance just puts her at ease. She accepts your presence without questioning it, and your authority.
Cool, interesting. So I think for my second question then, I hope to find common ground with you about writing. Is there any? So I think I happened to notice when you tossed your little notebook aside earlier, And now that I've finished this shot, I'm sort of like looking you over as well, and saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I didn't introduce myself earlier." You know, you can tell that like the customer service part of her brain kind of shorted out and went right into the giving the explanation instead of like saying hi like a regular person. Um, so she says, "I hope you're enjoying your stay in the hotel. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. My name's Isabel. I noticed your little book. Are you some kind of writer or a poet or anything?"
Oh well, I'm trying to write a travel piece on California and the hotel. It's the first assignment I've ever been on for something. I had a column in my college newspaper. It was called Miranda's Right, and it would just they would give me like 10 inches of column space to tell people what I knew about their lives. But it's hard when you have to talk to people and respect other people's stories. Like Miranda's right. I was right, so I could write it. And she kind of like waves her hand at the notepad, and it's like mostly empty. There's a couple of scribbles at the top, but they're like all scratched out and stuff. Like she had several false starts. She's like, I'm just trying to I don't know, like the stories are with the people, right? Not necessarily the place.
Right, yes. I think focusing on the people sounds like an excellent idea. Don't worry about the place at all. Don't try to draw maps of it. Don't explore it. Just go from your room to the cafeteria to the billiards room, and of course go wherever you want, but not anywhere that's off limits. And just have a great time in as small an area as possible, just talking with people, but not too much. But a little bit is okay. That would be great. I would be happy to do an interview with you whenever you'd like. Here's my card, and she out of her pocket pulls out a little business card with the hotel logo embossed on it in gold. On the back, it just says Isabel, and then there's like a smudge where a last name would be,
Oh,
which is weird because it's also embossed. So like there's like a gold raised smudge that you can like feel the texture of.
And there's like no phone number, nothing.
No, there's no way to contact her at all.
That's great. She takes it, man. It's just like, this is great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Amelia will look at that as you hand that card over and she says, "Oh, it's a calling card."
Yeah,
Yes.
for
Although
calling people.
We do remind guests not to make any outgoing calls, as all mobile and cell service has been suspended to allow you to better enjoy the hotel amenities, of course.
Of course.
And let me cross that off. Okay, So I did find common ground, and did I do a second question there? Was that my first question? I guess we had a lot of roleplay there.
You did find common ground, and I remind you of someone else you once knew.
There we go. Thank you. That's my Sue then. Boom. So just for people who don't have the list of what's crossed out in front of them, what we have left is I hope to persuade you. I hope you don't bring up blank. I accidentally let slip blank. I admit to being afraid of blank. I'm feeling generous. I saw you do blank earlier. I know a secret. You've seen me do something strange out of character. And I share an opinion about someone else.
I will say I'm feeling generous was used.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we used that one or if we swapped to a different one partway through.
Well,
So I think we did that one as I'm feeling nostalgic in the end after all.
Oh, okay.
If I'm remembering right.
Yeah, I think that's more accurate to what the conversation came into.
Sweet.
So that means it's my turn, right?
Yes, it's over to you.
Okay.
And you can feel free to like jump around in time, flash forward, flash back, have a different game of billiards going on in the same room or whatever. It doesn't have to be all continuous and linear, because come on,
Time is a flat circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually try to flip a coin because I don't have dice in front of me. So
Sure. Good luck.
that was tails, which is 2 questions.
Sweet.
So I think Miranda would get sucked into like hanging out in the parlor for a large amount of time because she doesn't really like to be alone right now at this stage in her life.
Mm-hmm.
So she likes being out around other people, and I will say she has like somehow somewhere gotten a drink.
Yeah, for sure.
But her drink is like it's a highball glass, and it's like it's supposed to be a whiskey ginger, and it tastes like a whiskey ginger, but it's not having the effects of a whiskey ginger. She's just like drink. So I'd say she's like feeling loosened up, but it's totally like a placebo effect.
Interesting.
Because she's got a drink in one hand and she's playing pool. So I think the first one, continuing kind of springboarding off of the former conversation where she got Isabel's card, is I'm hoping to persuade you that that you want to like to I want to persuade you to have like a expansive conversation with me that's not about like towing the company line or whatever.
Nice. So how do you go about that?
I think so Isabel's technically working, so Miranda would know that, like, you know, they're probably not supposed to drink on the job.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also seen a lot of Aaron Sorkin television shows, so she's like, I got you Isabel, I got you a drink. You know, you've been so good teaching me how to play this variant. You know, I've never played pool with the 9th hole before. I've come pretty close to getting a ball in the 9th hole. It's kind of wild to me that it's so difficult.
Yeah, it's it really adds a fun new dimension to the game, she says. And as the camera looks over, the 9th hole is now in a different position on the table.
Yes. So Miranda like lifts up the second drink. She's like, I listen, I know you're working, but your work is fun, right? So here, I got you this from the gentleman in the corner. There's like not a gentleman in the corner.
Nice.
There's like not
great,
like not a bar. It's like I'm imagining it's like a sitting room without a bar. But
yeah.
She like thinks she's like, oh, I went to the bar and got it. She's like, I got this from the bar. There's no bar.
Yeah. That's so good. So as you can see, like, she runs some mental calculations of like, am I gonna get in trouble for this? Do I actually care? Sure, whatever. And grabs the drink. And I think for the first time, like, the very fixed mask of her customer service face slips a little bit, and she like actually looks you in the eyes directly. And she says, "Oh, well, cheers," and clinks glasses with you.
Cheers. And then so I guess that turned into I'm persuading you to have a drink with me, which you did. And then a second question. I want to open one up to the rest of the room.
Is there a way to do a screen share on Google Meet? Because I could share you guys the little document that I'm marking up.
There's a whiteboard, but I don't know how that would affect.
I think there's a screen share.
Let's see. It's not because I don't remember what we've done. It's because I can't decide on what angle to take.
No worries.
What if I know a secret or I saw something I wasn't supposed to?
Ooh, cool.
Do you encourage me to share details? And I think primarily at Isabel because we're in conversation now, but like also
Different
like
people
one-
could have different reactions to that for sure.
And one penny's close, and this would be, I think the saw something I wasn't supposed to could either be like the fleeting memory of the eyeball coming out of the pool table,
Mm-hmm.
or if you'd rather it wasn't about your character, it could be like I saw a payphone.
I have
bank
another.
or something. Oh,
I have
okay.
an idea. Yeah.
Okay.
So my vision, if it's all right with you, I've been thinking about this. So one penny from the safety of Isabel's pocket square is listening and sees that Miranda has been speaking to Isabel a great deal. And as Miranda's speaking and waving her notepad around and being expressive and plopping it down when she's playing pool, the words "leave this place" or "forfeit everything" appear in Courier New, right in the middle of your notes.
Courier New.
Yeah.
Okay.
The most journalistic font.
Clearly.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so she'll Miranda will hand the drink over to Isabel and then like turn around to grab her notepad so she can like ask questions and take notes, and she'll just kind of like stop and stare at that Courier New message on it with like she's just like standing there with it.
One penny, safe in the pocket square, lets out a little giggle, very quietly. It's like a little gurgling giggle of pleasure.
It's so good.
Miranda like looks around the room at all the different guests and stuff, which I imagine every guest, like the hotel's full, but every guest that isn't one of us is like has like scratch marks over their face or something.
Awesome.
They're, like blurred, or I'm thinking about that episode of BoJack Horseman. But she's just like looking around, like who could have done this to my notebook in this like perfectly typeset font. Did you so I saw something I wasn't supposed to. Yeah.
Nice.
And the details are right there, so I just kind of hold them up. They're there.
Perfect. I think for my part, I will definitely warn you against revealing more. So I think that I say, I wouldn't worry about mysterious messages appearing in books or hidden under your pillow or in the steam in your bathroom mirror. Just any mysterious messages you get can be safely disregarded. And I would probably, if anything, take the opposite of whatever their advice is.
So
but they also, they won't happen and don't exist. So I need to check. I need to and she like wanders over to another table and like just grabs a cue out of someone else's hands and then puts it back in their hands.
I need to just
cool. So those are my two.
What does Amelia do to the notes?
Amelia takes a when she holds the notebook up, Amelia reads through it and then kind of surreptitiously looks around the room, like trying to see what the cause might have been. She's been here long enough to know that there is some weird stuff in this hotel, and just basically trying to see if it's something she recognizes or not. But there's no obvious sign of the culprit. So she goes and gets her own drink.
Nice. Okay, so that was Miranda's turn. So now we're over to One Penny's turn.
Okay, let me flip. I got tails, which I think is 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me know if we've already done this, but I would like to accidentally let slip that I exist. but I cover it to the best of my ability. Do you let me recover or hold it against me? So I think the way this looks, I think that the way that, God, how does this look? I have two ideas. I'm trying to pick which one would be more interesting. Okay, I think it's going to be as simple as, Isabel, may I touch you?
Sure.
I think it's as simple as a cottony frond emerging from your pocket square to just gently caress your chin and then slide back into your pocket square. This may not be the first time it's happened, but it's one of the first time it's happened like with other people in the room. It's almost like a possessive little gesture, like, and then it just goes back into the pocket square.
That's so good.
And then I think after a minute, One Penny realizes the impulsivity of its action and becomes embarrassed and teleports to hide in the corner of the ceiling like a cotton puff. Just
That's so good.
Do you let me recover or do you hold it against me?
Love to become embarrassed and then teleport. Okay. If only we all had such powers. I think that how do I react to that? I think that my hand like drifts up to touch the same spot a couple of seconds after you do it, and then I sort of realize what happened, and I'm like, and I kind of go still and like look around the room. And I think that I can tell where you are. Like I'm like looking around and we see the camera looking from your like angle up in the corner like a security camera looking down, and then she like slowly starts to turn her head around, and it's a mirror of the same time she tried to do that in her dream. It's like the exact same motion, and then she stops right where she stops and wakes up in her dream and is just frozen for a second, and then she closes her eyes, and then she whips her head around really fast. And I don't know if I end up seeing you or not, because I think that gives you enough time that you could relocate or not.
I think when you whip your head around, the ceiling is completely covered in a thin layer of cotton. Like from corner to corner, just a very thin, soft layer of cotton. And I think if you choose to blink, to wet your eyes or exist, it will be gone.
Nice, yeah.
So I'm thinking like raw cotton, like cotton balls. Are you thinking like woven cotton or raw cotton?
I think it's like a bubbly, like raw cotton, and it probably has bits of debris in it. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's very cool. Yeah.
It's like in the background while this is happening, right? It's just like, I guess I should leave, or maybe I should stay. I don't know.
The person teaching me just straight up ran away.
Amelia comes back from the bar with a scotch.
Amelia has the right idea. Amelia's like, this is water to me now.
Yeah, exactly. She drinks like half of it. Doesn't even seem phased.
Nice. Speaking of Amelia, I think it is over to her turn. Unless, did you have a second question for One Penny?
Oh, I do. I got so excitable about that one.
That was a great question.
It was.
Thank you for participating. I think. These are very good. Did we already do, well, oh, no, that's too obvious. Thinking aloud.
So what we currently have is hope you don't bring up blank, being afraid of blank, feeling generous, I saw you blank, you've seen me do something strange, and I share an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I would say you see me do something strange and out of character for the audience. Because
like
I think
existing?
everything One Penny does is probably strange.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, strange by default.
Or existing, yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Did we do I remind you of someone else yet?
Yes, we did do that
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
But I mean,
that's fine.
also, you could do it again if you have a good idea. I won't tell Maren.
I think I would like to do that if it's okay with everybody.
Could we just
Bend
like
that
strike
roll.
one of the other questions off?
Yeah,
to
you can
keep count,
scratch out a
right?
different one.
Okay. Perhaps we could Oh, that's a good one though. I'm sorry I'm being so indecisive. Let's go ahead and scratch off. I share an opinion about someone else in the hotel.
Perfect.
And you know what? I'm actually going to do that one. And I think the way that One Penny expresses its opinion is, Miranda, may I touch you?
Yes.
I think you feel a gross little tongue angrily lick your ankle and then stop and disappear.
Is it like rough, like a cat tongue?
It's just very
Like-
it's actually really smooth and pleasant and slippery and warm. Yeah, it's a nice tongue. It's a nice little tongue.
I'd say it reminds me of like my auntie's like Pomeranian, but like if the Pomeranian were much larger and had a much longer tongue.
Yeah, it's like a fruit roll up, but really like. Yeah. But that's my opinion about you. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree?
Well, I Miranda did, write an opinion column for 4 years of undergraduate. So, I mean, she can see where you're coming from.
Wow.
My ankle's wet now.
It's wet.
It smells like fruit.
All right.
It smells like blue raspberry.
Oh, nice.
goodness.
Blue is the best fruit.
Of course, a non-existent fruit. And next we have Amelia's turn.
All right. Let's see how many questions I've got. Heads. So one question. And I think this is going to be directed to One Penny, who was watching Amelia earlier. You've seen me do something strange and out of character recently. Do you ask me to explain?
Ooh, cool.
That's such a good question. Does it have to be present? Can we do a flashback moment?
Sure.
Or okay.
Recently sounds, yeah.
Okay. During my nightly observation of you, as you are taking down your hair and doing your Victorian lady, just preparing for bed or whatever, the elegant, you know how pretty they look when they're
You're
sitting
doing her
there.
like 90 brush strokes on each side. Of her.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I think the thing that you do that puzzles One Penny that it saw was you took one of your beautiful silken scarves or whatnot, you took that and you draped it over the mirror to cover it. And One Penny thought that was unusual. That is not part of your usual routine as it understands. And oh, wait, you've seen me do something strange?
You've seen me doing something strange, I think.
Okay, good. I was like, oh, but
I'm
I
the
wanted to see
asker.
you. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, I think that's what One Penny saw, and it's intrigued.
So it's do you ask her to explain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in that moment, a soft voice comes from beneath the seat on your chair and goes, "This one is present. This one would like to know, why cover the mirror?"
And this is, we established this is fairly recently. So random voices talking from underneath chairs, whatever. And
part and parcel at this point.
Part and parcel of life in the hotel. And you see Amelia reaches out to just and kind of just barely pulls the scarf off the mirror and exposes just a teeny bit of it. And she leans in a little bit and she says, I have a crow's foot now on my eye, and I never imagined growing old here. It's been so long, and I don't even know how long I've been here. And she lets the scarf drop.
This one likes when you're here.
I'm glad, I suppose, that you enjoy my company.
This one appreciates that you do not harm this one. This one appreciates your gentleness.
I have no wish to harm anyone here.
That makes you unusual.
Do you want to show yourself?
Silence.
And then when there's silence, Amelia just nods and says, perhaps another time then.
Silence.
Oh, cool.
Does that feel like scene?
I think that's it, yeah.
Thank you for that.
That was so good.
Thank you. Fascinating, Amelia. Poor thing.
4 questions left. I hope you don't bring up blank. I admit to being afraid of blank. I'm feeling generous. And I saw you... Oh, wait. Did we just do I saw you blank earlier? Yes.
We did, yeah. You see me do something strange and out of character.
Aha. There's multiple seeing the person do a thing. That's great. So... Yeah. Let's keep on rolling. I guess if we want to speed things up, we could scratch, but these are all so delicious. Like, it just feels good to let it ride. So we're up to me for my questions. I got a heads. Yeah, so I got whichever one is 2. I forget what I assigned to my numbers on my die. I got the higher number, and I am going to... Let's admit to being afraid of something. That seems cool. So I think that as Amelia is having this little like flashback moment, you sort of wake back up into the real world, and Isabel is like right there in front of you.
Oh gosh!
Unexpectedly. Just like with her hands behind her back, like smiling, looking very friendly. But it's still like, oh, she's right there. And she looks a little bit apologetic at having startled you, and says, "Oh, I'm awfully sorry, Amelia. I didn't mean to startle you there. I was just thinking that you're one of the guests I've gotten to know a little bit better as you've stayed here, and you've always been absolutely pleasant and lovely company. I just wanted to say it's...
Oh, that means quite a lot.
Well, I was wondering if you've had any unusual dreams lately. I've been having one that I can't quite seem to get out of my head, where something is behind me and I can't really turn around to see it, but also I sort of want to. Anyway, it's silly, but have you... I don't know, it's just a little weird, I guess. So I'm going to admit to being afraid of my reoccurring dream. Do you reassure me?
Amelia says, well, I haven't been dreaming very much lately, personally. But have you tried lighting a candle in your room and leaving it to burn down while you fall asleep. It always used to help me when I was a child, and I had nightmares.
That's so cute. And she says, "No, I haven't. I don't think I've lit a candle at all in a while. I guess I don't know when the last time I lit a candle was.
Somewhere, right?
Yeah, I'm sure I can find one. Thank you, and I'll have the turnover staff take a look at your bed, make sure it's not lumpy or anything. If that's why you can't sleep."
I appreciate your kindness. Thank you so much, Isabel. And I won't tell anyone.
Of course. Thank you.
And then Amelia finishes the rest of her scotch.
That's so good. Okay. While we're talking, I can do my second question, I suppose. So I'll say, okay, yeah, we got to go for this. I saw you blank earlier, and now I'm suspicious. How do you react when confronted? So I think I'm going to say, I'm just about to turn to leave, and then I turn back, and I say, Amelia, it's the funniest thing. Sometimes you don't really know if you're awake or asleep or sleepwalking or what, right? But I remember I was walking the other night, really, really late at night or early in the morning, maybe, and I happened to look out through the frosted glass, and I saw. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't go to the outdoor courtyard and pool because they're off limits. But I could have sworn I saw you there, with your very distinctive, beautiful dress and your refined air. I saw someone walking there, and it's okay if it was you. You can tell me.
Isabel, I have never been anything less than honest with you, so I will tell you right now, it was not me. But I wish that it was.
Intense. Whew. I think she says, well, as long as no one's violating any regulations, then.
No, you may rest assured that no rules have been broken here.
Good. Well, we'll have to see if we can catch that culprit, then.
Please do let me know if you manage it.
Yep. I mean, of course, I'm not allowed to go out there either, so I don't know how I would. But we'll figure something out. It'll be fine.
Best of luck.
You too. And we're over to Miranda's turn. Looks like I think your only option is I hope you don't bring blank up, do you?
So I would say, after feeling wetness on her ankle, like, kind of shorted for a second, but then her brain is still working really hard to connect things because she's only been here for a few days, so she doesn't accept things easily. She has to have an excuse for them. So when Isabel walks away, Amelia sees Miranda standing up with an empty glass, and she's like, "I dropped my whiskey. It went into my shoe." But for the final question, she's still trying to figure out Amelia's appearance and very clearly not of her time. So she hopes that Amelia doesn't bring up status, because she's dressed very richly. And that's her status, her place in the world is something Miranda's struggling with right now. She's a scholarship student and she can't find a job, and she's in that phase where the only thing people ask her is what are you doing next? Where are you working? What are you what's next for you?
That's the real horror.
Yeah, sorry to bring my existential dread into this pretend game.
It's good.
But,
Good. Keep going.
But she's got wet ankles, smelling of blue raspberry and whiskey, and like existential dread. She really hopes that like
Oh, buddy.
Wait,
status doesn't come up.
Did you actually pour the whiskey onto your ankle too?
Did I?
I wasn't sure if you
Miranda?
were like, oh yeah, that's what this is from.
Yeah, I think that's what she did. But
It's
like
when
she
you
doesn't.
walk into a spider.
Yeah, her brain wants to believe it's something that makes sense. So her brain's like, "Oh, I dropped it," but she really was just like, "Whoop."
Just justifying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amelia does not bring status up. In fact, you see her smile a little bit, which is probably the first true smile she's made all day. She normally keeps her decorum very, very proper, because in her openness and just general disarray, Miranda reminds Amelia a little bit of Elsie, who was not a noble, who was common. And so it's like bringing back fond memories. And yeah, you see Amelia smile, but say nothing.
Ooh.
Cool. So since I started this game, I will remind us again that whoever's next, if all of the questions have been struck from the list, the person who's next gets the 8-ball and may ask an original question of their own to further their own agendas.
Ooh.
And end the game of billiards. I forget who's after me. I think it's One Penny,
I
actually.
think it's One Penny.
It is. Heck yeah.
Which
I
is
get all the good
perfect.
stuff, guys. I feel a little guilty. I get to lick ankles and like overhear weird things.
Living that another
Okay.
life.
So I can go ahead and ask an original question.
Yeah, and it says to anybody or to everybody.
I definitely want one for everybody. Well, I know this is going to sound vague, but I hope everybody gets juicy. But like, how after this experience, how after this moment here in the pool, in the billiards room, how is everybody individually feeling? Like, what tone does your character leave with? Like, where's your mind?
Cool. So many emotions.
I'll go first because if that's okay, because I know very clearly where Amelia's headspace is at. Amelia has been in the process of falling into a pretty deep well of despair for probably what is the last. She started out fairly hopeful that she would be able to leave in the last however many years that have gone by. That it ties into the mirror thing. But today, for the first time, she feels like there's hope again, because she was told that someone was seen in the courtyard, and that means that their escape might actually be possible.
That's so cool.
I would say Miranda still isn't thinking about getting out of the hotel yet, but has come out of the collective experience feeling kind of the way you do when you have like a really good conversation with somebody at a hotel bar, or like she's visited the Cheers bar where everybody knows everybody's name, and she's like, I want to be one of those names that everybody knows now. So she wants to be like, it's kind of almost the opposite. She doesn't want to escape the hotel. She wants to be accepted more fully as one of the hotel.
Cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
And Isabel, I think, is feeling kind of like woken up. Like she's been kind of drifting through her job for the last while, and is feeling like, okay, stuff is going on, and I need to like start paying attention to it because things are moving around me that I haven't really been paying as much attention to as I should have. Which is kind of a scary and kind of an exciting feeling, I think. Yeah. All right.
And then to answer my own question, I'm going to hop in
do.
and say, One Penny is feeling destructive. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
exciting.
Hashtag foreshadowing.
Yeah. On that beautifully cliffhangery note, we will go to our short 5 to 10 minute break. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out in the chat. It's been so lovely seeing all of you and seeing a couple of the donations to Extra Life. With all of your free time, why don't you help out charity and get that donation number up? We are getting it going, which is very exciting. We're at $5.95. So we have a lovely palindrome number, but an even better palindrome would be 666. It's just nice and round the whole way, right? So if you think about it, it can get better. On that note, yeah, we will head off to our break, get a drink of water. Remember that you have a physical form, at least most of us. And we'll see you in just a few minutes.
See ya.
Like,
Hey everyone, welcome back from our break. I hope that you have had a great drink of water and remembered that you have a physical body that it's going into, or not, as the case may be. We have some exciting news. So Roll20 has donated us some copies of Tales from the Loop, which is a fun kids on bikesy, explority, doing cool Stranger Things stuff game, if I'm remembering right. We're giving some of those away as we hit milestones in our fundraiser. So to enter into our giveaway to win a copy of it today, you can type Billiard Buds into the chat. And at the end, we will see who wins. And you'll get a cool game. So look forward to that. Next up, we are going to have Al pick a game for 1 penny.
All right, so here we are back in the hotel. And for my turn, I've chosen to play Staying Alive or a chase. And I am going to be the hunter, and I'm going to chase Isabel. So we have to start, as I understand it. Alex, feel free to coach me back and forth. Sure. But it looks like we have to talk about what our history is with each other.
Yeah.
So what is our history with each other, I wonder?
I think it's... I think I have probably, like, occasionally gotten little messages from you, but have been like, nope, I'm just gonna stick with doing my job, not gonna worry about the spooky stuff going on. The employee manual says don't talk to anomalies, and also they don't exist, so I won't. So I think it's been you've been sort of slowly working into my ability to not pretend that you don't exist anymore.
Yeah, of course. I'm wooing you.
Yes.
In my opinion.
In your way.
Right? In my own way. Okay. And I think our chase, honestly, I think it does begin slow. I think it's beginning so slow that this is the first time. I think if it's all right with you, maybe this is the first time that Isabel has finally been like, this is happening. Things are starting to build and something is occurring. The energy has changed.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And so during the chase, any of you feel welcomed to ask for any additional details that you want about the landscape, what's ahead and behind, or the course the chase may take. So, all right. So Alex, the quarry conducts the chase. And do you want to hop in there?
Sure. So I'll say where I'm going and what safe destination in the house is my end. In the hotel is my end goal. I think it's like my bed. It's a very like you have to get into your bed and put the covers over your head to be safe scenario.
Yeah.
And I think that Isabel's room is a side room. It's not like in a hallway, but it's off of the arcade and billiards room, which I think is like an 80s or 90s like video game arcade
Yes.
plus billiards room.
Okay.
So she has to go through that to then get to her room. So
Okay.
sometimes it's really convenient, and then sometimes she has to work at a different billiards room. It's very inconvenient.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I will lead you through a series of 4 challenges and admissions, choosing freely, although the third must be an admission. During the chase, we will gain coins representing the distance we've gained on each other. I'll just keep track of that for us with some d8s.
Thank you.
So they are both at 0 right now.
Okay.
And then after 4 turns, unless I choose an option that ends the chase early, we'll compare coins. If I have more coins than you, then I break away and escape. And then if you have as many coins or more than me, then we'll pick some from this list about me getting caught. One Penny's foam finger is a frond with an eye. Amazing. The chat has some good goofs. Thank you.
I may be inspired by the anime Parasite. It's one of my favorites. Mhm.
Parasite's so good.
Yeah.
Good body horror. Very creepy, very fun. So, I will go ahead and start the chase with a challenge. And we're starting slow, so I think this is the sort of chase where, like, I suddenly realize that I've been being followed for a while in the middle of it. So I think that I am walking through... where am I? I think there are some laundry rooms in the like staff only areas of the hotel that have like those big industrial washing machines for like sheets and stuff that are just like humming and whirring, and there's folded towels and stuff everywhere. So it's this weird combination of like kind of homey and safe and kind of ominous and unfeeling and industrial, and it's like gigantic. It's just there's like hundreds of washers and dryers going here, and there's not any other staff here. It's just me, and I'm not like doing work here. I'm just walking through this on my way back to my room. So I'm gonna say that. What do I do? We'll say I'm passing through a cluttered room with plenty of obstacles to get in your way. Follow me if you want, but throw. On tails, you have to find another way around, and I gain a coin.
Okay.
So roll me a die, flip me a coin.
Okay. I'm flipping a coin. I got tails.
All right. So you have to find another way around. For some reason, this laundry room is anathema to you, and you don't want to follow me.
I know how. So
Sweet.
as
What does that look
for
like?
all right. So the way that this looks is there's been a cotton puff that has been rolling after you along the ground for like a day, and it maybe took a while to figure out it was actively following you. You know, kind of like having toilet paper attached to the back of your foot. You're just like, oh, what the hell is this? You know, and One Penny is trying to follow you into this loud, thundering room, and as you're perhaps speeding up, however that may look for you, One Penny is trying to keep up as this little puffball that's rolling after you as fast as it can. But unfortunately for it, it gets sucked into a dryer just as it's going, and just this sad little noise as and it's completely just like sort of like sadly, like there's not even any fanfare. The camera just keeps going as it's uselessly sucked into a dryer as you like freely glide wherever the hell you want to be. So that's where we're at right now. I think One Penny is like reaching its tendrils, trying to pull itself out, and it doesn't even make noise because it's made out of cotton. So it's just these sad fronds like occasionally poking out of the bottom of the dryer. It's not going great for me.
So good.
Gonna emerge from the filter.
Trying to. So yeah, you've got a lead on me.
Nice. So I think that I like see the little motion of like your flailing caught tendrils out of the corner of my eye, and I don't realize that it's you being caught and helpless. I think it's you like starting to manifest more, and so you can see my steps are quickening, and like a bead of sweat is dripping down the side of my head,
Be
and
afraid.
I am going to. I'm going to say I lead you directly into an anomaly's territory. We are both in danger here. So I think there's other anomalies besides One Penny in this hotel. And in my haste to get away, I open a door that is. I think there's a door like leading out to the regular hotel, and I like turn and take a different one. And this one says there's a big like stamp on it that says like staff only, and then that's crossed out, and then other word it just says nobody.
Yeah.
But I open the door too quickly to notice it, and I walk through, and then I immediately realize that I'm in a bad part of the hotel that is yet more behind the scenes. It's like a sort of a boiler roomy area. So there's lots of like pipes and steam and like all that stuff, and it's completely dark except for like the occasional like red glow of a boiler off in the distance somewhere, and like you can see that the outlines of the pipes are lined in red, and I'm like, oh boy. Okay, you've done it now, Isabel. And I like reach back for the door, and of course it's gone. So then I go, okay, and I straighten my jacket and I start walking.
So, in the background, the camera is focusing on Isabel as she's panting and coming into this room and backlit by the boiler colors. And One Penny has sort of threaded itself out of the lint filter, but as it pours out, it gets bigger and bigger into the shape of a skeletal hand that snatches on the ground and drags itself like full on like Tim Curry in like Fern Gully Hexa style out, like a being made of like slithering cotton, and it gasps with a blank round mannequin like head, and it gasps with sort of a sensuous human mouth to breathe in some fresh air, and its neck rolls around and sees just your boot sliding around the corner, and it begins to drag itself like fast across the ground after you because it knows it has to make up. And so it drags itself as quickly as it can, skittering like almost overshooting the door. And right before the door disappears, because that's what the door do, it actually drags itself inside. But as soon as it gets inside, it slips in, it freezes. And you get the sense it's looking around, and it's actually, I would say right now, it's sort of like human shaped. If a human had like 9-foot long arms and legs and like stood like a dog and with its head craned up, and I think it's frozen in like a submissive posture, and it's looking nervously at the ceiling. And it actually is like stopped, and I think after a minute it goes, Isabel, come here.
That's great. I have also I've just barely gotten into the room, and so I hear your voice, and I'm like, and then I think I don't turn around. I just walk backwards a couple steps to get closer to you, and I'm like, what?
This one is afraid. This room belongs to Two Penny. This is bad. We must find the door. Yeah, we must find the door. Let us go.
That's
and
so
I think,
good.
I think One Penny actually shrinks down to the size of like a capuchin monkey, and if it's all right, is going to try and swing itself up to your shoulder. And it actually is like clinging. Yeah, if that's okay, feel free to make that not happen.
That sounds awesome, and I love it.
Cool. And so it's cute now. it's like perched there, and it has a tail, and like it has no head or neck. It's just like a flat like lump, but it seems to be looking nervously around as the boiler room gets hotter.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Two Penny is made of wool. Oh.
Steel wool.
Steel.
Hey.
Very good. That's how I can survive in the boiler.
Yeah.
So I think with that, I think it makes a lot of sense to say that I look behind me and you're much closer than I thought, like literally on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Throw. On heads, you gain 2 coins. So if you can roll me a die.
Oh, I see. I thought it was you. Click. All right. I got heads. So
Perfect. That means you get 2 coins.
Oh, cool.
And I'll mark
What do
those
I
up.
spend coins on?
You spend coins on winning the chase if you have more than me at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sadly, you cannot spend them on arcade games.
Or can you?
Or can you? So I think I will say...
I have a question, Alex.
Yeah.
Is the door on the ceiling now?
That seems awesome. Yes.
Okay. It's on the ceiling above us.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's cool. So I think to get out of this room, you shouldn't actually walk forward. That's like a trap walking towards the light. So you actually have alerted me not to do that. With your like recoiling as I start to walk forward. So I think that what I am going to do is look up and see the door, and then realize that I have to like climb up the intermittently steam blasting pipes to get to it, which is kind of horrifying.
Yeah.
But I think because there's not really a mechanic for that, that just works. I eventually do. It's very scary, a steam blast like right here to my face, and I'm like, oh gosh, but we get out. And
I think
then
as we're opening the door, you hear a little ripping noise as one penny is ripped off of you, and a strangled scream, and the smell of burning cotton.
Dang!
Yeah.
I've never felt sympathetic for the person who was chasing me. That's so rough. So I think that I'm just like, don't look back. The employee manual says never look back. Can't look back because you don't want to see what's happening. So I have to keep going, and then I can get back to my room. Just need to get back to my room. It'll be okay. We're almost to the arcade. So I am going to say, as I'm getting up to the arcade, I know this part of the hotel well. Follow me if you want, but throw. On tails, you're following me into unknown territory, and I won't have to choose any admissions during the chase. Of course, I've already chose my admissions, but I think I'm picking this one just because it makes sense narratively, and also there's no particular way for me to win the chase anyway, and I kind of don't want to. So that's my choice.
Okay, so I flip?
Yes, but it won't really have any particular point to doing that, so don't worry about it. But you can follow me into the arcade.
Thank you.
If you want.
I would love to.
Perfect.
So, before I say what happens with one penny, can you give me like a snapshot? Can we like see the camera on Isabel and what it looks like when she goes into the arcade?
Sure, yeah. So I think she's walking in, and it goes from like the complete tense silence of the hallway to just a wash of noise and beeps and boops, and the bright lights of all the different arcades machines are like lighting up her cream white outfit, and it's just a riot. There's no one in here playing games, but they're all on their demo modes and things. And we walk by like Gagala and like Street Fitter and like a bunch of things that are just like a couple letters off from being real games.
Uh,
And she is just like kind of absent-mindedly will like pat a joystick of a game as she goes by, or like run her hand along a cabinet because she just walks through this place every day, and is, even though it's also sort of a Byzantine labyrinth of different games, managing to thread her way through it very easily.
Cool. Thank you. So as you're weaving gracefully and competently through this, the glittering lights of the arcade and the noises, through the door thunders an enormous, hulking, heavy, vaguely quadrupedal figure with sort of a torpedo-shaped head, lined with small human teeth. And its head just rolls on its too small neck, thumping against one of the machines, and focuses on you. No eyeballs necessary. And then it starts galloping towards you, just smashing aside the machines like they are just wheat in a field. And
So cool.
it seems to be made of cotton, but there's something weird and off. It doesn't look like one penny anymore. It looks like the cotton is threaded through with steel ribbons. And I think it says, as it leaps into the air, staring down at you, ready to pounce and pouncing, it says, "I've got you, and you can call me 3 Penny." And I think it like lands on top of you and cages you. It doesn't like smash you or anything, but it like lands and cages you. Like, you know, when you're like in school and they bring out in PE class, they bring out the really good balloon thing and they're like, "Yay, let's play with the balloon." And you like sit on it, the rainbow like parachute. It's kind of like that, but with like cotton and steel wool trying to surround you. Yeah, it smells like copper inside. And it's humming with satisfaction.
Wow, very cool.
Does it catch you? Do you do something?
It does, yes. So after 4 turns, we are going to compare coins. You have 2 coins and I have 0. So we are going to choose one for how you have gotten me. I think that what happens is you've driven me to a dead end and cornered me, I think is the most accurate one here. So I think that I just like try to like turn and just bolt when I see you running towards me because it's scary, and I think I end up just dashing headlong into like a little like closed in circle of arcade cabinets that's like making a little ring that I can't get out of. And then you just smash it apart by landing on all of it and pinning me down. And that's where we're gonna leave that. That's the end of our chase. Very exciting.
Thank you for that experience, Isabel. Yeah. I hope that was okay.
That was awesome.
Poor thing. There's a lot of chasing of this lovely staff member.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I asked for in my dream. Yeah. So we are good to go.
All right.
Okay, so now we go on to our next scene. And who do we have? I think that's Amelia next.
All right. I would like to play Is There Something I Should Know, or an investigation.
Ooh, cool.
And I'm going to say my chosen partner for this will definitely be Miranda as the journalist. But it does say other players may join freely if it makes sense for their characters to be there. So Isabel and 3 Penny, please feel free to join as desired. It says decide which part of the hotel you're in and what incident, anomaly, or other mystery you're investigating. Amelia wants to go poke around a bit at the doors to the courtyard and the outdoor pool because of what Isabel told her during the billiards game. And so as far as stakes in the case, I think it's pretty clear Amelia's looking for a way out. Although Miranda has not yet realized that she is trapped. And as far as what lengths, it says, what lengths will you go to in order to find answers, and what are you hiding from each other? Amelia will go pretty far for this. She is a brave and stubborn were two of her traits. So there are very few lengths she will not go to for this. And she's not hiding anything necessarily, but hasn't really given Miranda the full picture yet of what they're up against, so to speak.
For Miranda in this case, poking around doors, she's still trying to find her angle for her column on this her like TripAdvisor review for this hotel, and she's been here. Is this happening after the billiard scene?
Yes.
Okay. I'll say she's gotten to a point where she's like, well, I haven't gotten a chance to see any of that famous California sunshine. You know, I would love to just like go lay out by the pool.
There's not a lot of windows in this hotel.
Just for my own mental health, would love to just stake out by the pool and just sit there and maybe take a nap. And so she's not like in it for escape. She's in it for like amenities.
She's in it for amenities. I love it. Yeah, so Amelia will actually like come knock on your door and say, I was planning to take a bit of a promenade around the hotel this afternoon and wanted to know if you would like to join me.
I would love to go on a promenade. I can't. Every time I try to turn the TV on, it's just like snow, static, and screaming. So.
Yes, the box in the corner. I don't recommend it.
Okay.
Don't recommend that weird box. Don't see the appeal.
I tried to call down to get somebody to come look at it, but the phone's dead, So yes, I would love to take a walk, and she'll like grab a light jacket and just put it on over casual clothes,
and then we will head down to the. Amelia will lead Miranda down to the doors. So I guess we haven't established what the doors to the courtyard and the pool look like. We know they're locked, but how are they locked? How are they like barricaded? Are they?
I like the idea of them. I'm thinking of like fancy hotels where it's like glass French doors, but instead of being like transparent, you can't see, it's like frosted glass.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's hints of things, you can see like hints of things moving behind them, but you can't see anything clearly, or like
maybe the whole thing is frosted glass, because you sometimes look at those interior courtyards and it's just like it's like all glass.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
So it's all frosted glass, which seems like it ought to be fairly easy to get through, but no one's ever been able to break it.
Right. Yeah. And like if people have tried, like things like bounce off it, or
yeah,
it's like bulletproof frosted fancy glass.
I love it.
Would there be signs or anything up, do you think? Like, or is it just accepted?
I feel like hotels normally do put out signs.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those like the theater style signs that is like the little gold or brass sign that you can put the little letters on, and it's one of those that says pool closed until further notice or something like that.
I like the idea of it just saying don't. Maybe that's on the back side of it, like it says pool cosed, but like around just says don't.
Is it engraved? Like don't, like a permanent feature.
Yeah, and like around would it be near like the lobby area, or like
it's probably on the ground floor, so to speak, because you generally don't put pools too far up. So yeah, it probably is close to the lobby. Is anyone else joining us? Isabel, Threepenny?
think I'm otherwise occupied.
Yeah, I think we're tied up.
Cool. Well, while you're tied up, so the way this works is we're going to take turns back and forth, and we each get to pose an investigative question, and then we flip a coin. On heads, the answer is beneficial or informative. On tails, the answer should be vague and helpful or something you're hoping against. And we have to keep a track of how many coin flips have come up heads and how many have come up tails. It's just with 5, so I'm just going to steal some D6s. I'm going to take Alex's idea.
Coins. Obsolete.
Yes, coins have been made obsolete by dice. Yes. Okay. I will go first. We go to 5 questions, and then we tally them.
Okay.
So the question I will ask, which you get to answer, Miranda. I noticed something new or out of place in the hotel that seems to have something to do with the case and decide to investigate. Is the diversion fruitful? So roll.
Am I flipping or are you flipping?
I think you flip.
Oh.
Oh no, it does sound like I flip. Hold on. Let's find out. Heads. So your answer should be beneficial, informative, or something I was hoping for.
Something new or out of place in the hotel that seems to have something to do with the case and decide to investigate. So I think, the decision to investigate was because you heard this rumor from Isabel that somebody was seen outside. And in your 100 years of being here, nobody's ever been seen or even rumored to have been seen outside. I think since we established that it's like a big wall of frosted glass, it does seem as we make our way down stairs to like walk the hallway around the like pool area, courtyard area. It does Miranda doesn't notice anything because she hasn't been around long enough to like establish a baseline of normality for this place. But it seems like there's some kind of light source outside, or it's like lighter than it normally is, or than you've seen it. And in that light, I like the idea of being able to see like indistinct movement. Nothing you can pinpoint to, like you can't say like, oh, that was humanoid, or oh, that was a tree in the wind or something. But like some sense of out of the corner of your eye movement in the kind of lit up outdoor area.
Ooh.
Where before there hasn't been. So I'd say it is fruitful. It makes your it justifies your desire to like even come down and look.
So as we're walking, then you'll notice that Amelia, we're carrying on a conversation and chatting, but Amelia's eyes keep drifting to the windows and following the movement of the shadows that are now moving around inside the courtyard.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just, it's a little more active down here than it has been in the past.
Oh, really? Do you know? You seem like you've been around for a while. Do they ever like host conferences or anything?
Well, there is a conference room that they have. I don't think I've ever actually seen well, that's not true. I have actually seen a conference come through before with an awful lot of people. But it's not frequent.
Wow, interesting. Well, they'd probably be able to get more people to come if they'd open the pool.
You'd think that would be the case, wouldn't you?
So just to keep things moving along, I would pick a question now and flip, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I fixate my attention on one specific piece of information, detail of the room or object, trying to learn as much as I can from it. what does it have to tell me? I think I'm fixating on the, like, you've noticed that something is different. So now I'm like, oh, this isn't normally like this. Like, what does it being like this actually mean? Again, gonna try to flip a coin and not a die. That landed on the floor. Gonna try again.
Try one more time.
Heads,
Oh, awesome.
which is good.
Yes. So you're fixating on the fact that I've told you that it's different now than it normally is.
Yeah, and I think I would. I'm trying to think of like what a fresh journalist would ask, and not what like a therapist would ask, because a journalist wouldn't be like, "And how does that make you feel?" Or a good, maybe a new one would. But she would like switch modes from like casual conversation to like prying conversation.
Oh, cool.
Because she is nosy.
Okay.
But she also lacks any kind of context because she's naive. So she would just be like, well, you said you were escaping from somebody here, but have you like taken advantage of all of the amenities that they had to offer? I mean,
I've been here for quite a long time, longer than it perhaps looks like I have been. And yes, I've taken advantage of every amenity here at the Hotel California except the pool.
but the pool is like, I don't know, it's like a place you go with your girls and you have like drinks and you talk out your problems.
So I'm going to gently interject.
Okay.
As you two are talking, you hear from behind the frosted glass the slow hacking sound of a cat with a hairball, but instead of being small, it sounds like horse-sized, and then it stops, just in the background.
Perfect.
Amelia just pauses and listens for it, waits for it to stop. And then turns back to Miranda like nothing even happened.
Okay, so the horse-sized cat you're okay with, but she doesn't say this, but she's like, did you hear that? Like that? So...
Oh, yes, I did.
This is different from normal.
That's normal.
But that's normal.
Yes, that's quite normal. You hear a lot of strange noises here.
Okay.
Strange voices, noises. It runs the gamut.
Okay.
The pool here has been closed the entire time that I've been here, and I've never managed to actually get in.
I would say, like, as she's saying that, they're approaching kind of one of those signs, like near
What
one of
was
the
that?
doors.
Just don't.
So as you
I remember.
approach the sign, you're going to see, if you don't mind, I'm just going to hop in because I love
I
Miranda.
love it.
Yeah,
It says the pool is open.
Ooh.
Huh. And Miranda will like try the door that the sign is near. I'm imagining like one of those like push bar doors.
The classic hotel door, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The ones that if you always want to pull it, but they never get it right. You know, it's like push or pull, and you're like, I can't open this. Like, which way?
So she'll just try the door. I don't know how if I decide whether it works or not, or if I should let somebody else decide. Or
you tell us.
We could ask another question.
Yeah, do a coin
I think we
flip.
should do that. I think we're at another question time.
So let's see here.
Maybe snooping.
That's a big snoop.
Mega snoop.
Or I walk the halls of the hotel, and because that's literally what we're doing, hoping to find a secret room or route that will make certain odd details of the case make sense. Do I stumble on anything new? What if this particular door or something like that? Oh no, I rolled tails.
It makes an interesting story.
maybe this door doesn't actually open. It like opens onto one of the other rooms. It doesn't actually open onto the pool.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let me scroll back up to the list of rooms that I read at the very beginning of the stream. Is this the room with? Maybe it's the room with blood-covered walls.
Oh my god! It's all glass-covered walls, so we walk in.
Yeah, that's what the shadows were. Was the blood coming down the walls? So Miranda opens up the like kind of pushes door. She's doing it like as she's walking by, like not expecting it to work, but then it gives a little bit, and so she has to kind of like stop and then like do it again, and it opens with like a really loud like it really needs some WD-40. Like just it's relatively quiet otherwise, like no people, no lobby music or anything. It's just like sudden like screech. And it's like there is a single like naked bulb in the middle of the room, like a phantom light in a ghost light in a theater. And there's no other furniture in the room. And I also think, like, in my mind, it has frosted glass walls and then, like, a tile floor with a drain in the middle.
And all the blood is slowly moving toward the drain.
And just the blood is, like, seeping out of the top corners of the wall of the ceiling and, like, just, like, slowly, like syrup just, like, dripping down. And it smells like 1 penny, 2 penny, 3 penny because it's very coppery. And like there's a drip echoing out of the drain in the bottom of the room, and that's the only other noise.
Maybe there's also writing in the blood on the walls, writing created by the absence of blood on the walls, the only spaces that aren't covered, that just says you can never leave.
It says like the exact opposite of what was written on my notepad in Courier New.
Yep. But
leave never.
Also in Courier New.
Imagine the blood somehow going around like the little capitals and like whatnot, serifs. It's like very precise. I love it.
And when the door opens, Amelia peeks in like over Miranda's shoulder and just sees the blood room and says, "I've seen this one before. It moves around the hotel."
Huh.
I love that she's just still unfazed. Like, oh yeah, that's the blood.
You know, for Miranda, I wonder if does she have any pockets? And does she wear like?
I think she's wearing like blue jeans. I was also gonna say I think one of her like she's never been good around blood. So, but like this is blood out of context, so it takes her a minute, and then she's like, oh, and then she just looks like kind of faint. She has pockets.
Amelia's prepared for this. She pulls out smelling salts.
Yes.
And like waves them under Miranda's nose until she like steadies again.
Okay. It's just syrup. It's just syrup.
Are you back? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay. We're going to stand up. Don't look behind you, and I'm going to shut the door. All right?
Okay, by the way, as soon as you say that, I'm just going to say that 3 Penny is now there, but they're standing behind both of you, very still, and they've taken the form of a woman wearing billowing skirts with a pinched waist and no face, but like a coiffed updo, and she's just standing directly behind Amelia. As Amelia says, don't look behind you.
So are you standing then where Miranda can see you?
Sure.
Right. Are you between us and the door that we came in?
All I want
further into the room.
3 Penny just wants to be right behind Amelia where it's good. It's a good place to be there. So that's where it is right now. I'll let you decide if you can see them or not right now. Whatever you think would be more interesting.
Well, we have another That was 3 questions, right?
Yeah, we have 2 more, so you could ask another question.
So I'll do a
Yeah.
question just to see how or if I would.
And you'll
Yeah.
want to keep a tally of how many are heads and tails, or I could start doing that if you'd like.
I've
We
got
have 2. We
You
have
got
2
'em?
heads and 1 tails right
2
now.
heads and 1 tail. Yep.
Perfect. Just making sure, because I would definitely forget that in the excitement of this very cool scene.
So my question is, I'm going to pick the brain of one of my investigative partners, hoping they might have picked up on something that I haven't. Do they have any observations to share with me? Tails.
No. We're
Which is,
tied. 2 heads, 2 tails.
Tails, it's uncertain. Yeah.
So in that case, I would say you do in fact see Threepenny. And as Amelia is, helping you get back on your feet, she says, "Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. We'll get you somewhere safe."
She's kind of like looking over, like not directly at your face, but like over your shoulder, and like her reaction is it's kind of like a little panic attack. Like you can tell her, like what you see is like her breathing gets a little bit shallower again. She doesn't look like she's about to fall over, but her breathing gets shallower, and she's like looking past you. And for her, like she sees the figure with the flowy skirts and the scratched out face, and I would say that it reminds her of somebody, and that's why she's having the reaction she's having. I would say that she thinks for a split second that it's her sister, her older sister.
Oh.
And like this really, like, it's jarring because it's out of place and there's blood everywhere, and Courier knew. And so she's just like, you said you've been in this room. Do you, what?
Yes, I've been here about 12 times now, I think. I don't know. Sometimes the days blend together quite a bit.
Is Threepenny gonna like stay there or like dissolve?
Threepenny is behaving like as Amelia speaks. Threepenny is moving like a puppet, as though she's the one puppeting it, and it's like nodding and its head is tilting, and but it's not saying anything. It's just as though it's mirroring Amelia perfectly from behind.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say as soon as it starts doing that, Miranda would be like, "Are you really here?"
Well, of course I'm here.
No, not you. Not you.
What?
Are you really here?
I think as Amelia says, "What?" which is a gorgeous little mental image, by the way. I totally pictured that. I think as she says that, there's sort of a dissonant moment where the moving Threepenny behind her stops moving, and that's how you know that it's listening to you. And its hand comes up and goes at you. It's like a little flicker of fingers, like kind of a wave, but shy.
Okay, I think we should do the last question now while I decide how I react.
All right, I'm gonna go big or go home. I dabble in strange and mystical forces in my search for answers. Yes. What price do I pay, and what do I learn?
Oh, shooty patoot.
Love to flip the final coin. All the money on this.
I rolled a 1. I rolled the tails.
Oh no!
What does that mean? What happens?
That means I don't get anything good out of it. Does not work.
No.
So the answer is vague, unhelpful, or something you were hoping against, and then we have more tails than heads. So the entire case is shrouded in mystery. We might know who, but not why or how, or we don't have enough evidence.
So I think the form Amelia dabbling in strange and mystical forces takes is she closes her eyes and then she says, I know you're there. I can feel you behind me. Is there truly no escape from this place? I ask you to answer me honestly.
I think as you say this, which once again, wonderful mental image for some reason of like Miranda and then Amelia and then the Threepenny being. I think maybe the camera zooms in on Amelia's hand as she's sort of being earnest in this moment here, and because we rolled a tails, Threepenny is not going to answer, but instead a little cobweb hand slips into your own from behind and wraps its fingers around yours.
Amelia will actually give the cobweb hand a gentle squeeze. Just like of companionship, basically. And then when there's no response, Amelia just nods her head and says, thank you for being here anyway.
I think Miranda might not be about this, though.
Miranda's reaction.
I think she might, like, at the wave that happened earlier, like before you acknowledged that Threepenny was there, she would have like turned on her heel and like just not running, not screaming, not obviously frightened, but would have just like, nope. Like walked directly out of the room.
And as Amelia opens her eyes and sees like your back moving down the hall quickly, she just calls after you and says, "Stay safe, Miranda."
And she's just like, that's what you hear. She's like,
Oh, it's so good.
Thank you.
Cool. That was our investigation.
Yeah, and so the case is still shrouded in uncertainty.
Seems right. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got about 15 minutes left. Am I doing my math right?
Mm-hmm.
So we could try and fit in one last scene if we wanted to, and sped through it a bit. It could be what is that one called? Al, we could do I think we're alone now if you wanted to resolve me getting pinned down.
I would love that. Let's pop through that. What page is that on?
The chat has demanded more scenes. More 24.
Okay. What page is that one on? 24. Oh, here it is. Found. Oh, 24. Thank you. I thought you said Threepenny. Okay. All right. So how did we come to be stealing time together?
I kind of want this just to be 1 second after our previous cliffhanger, right?
Okay, sure.
I'm just on the floor of the perpetually sticky arcade carpet with like the bright stripy patterns in it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a texture. So what do we notice about each other? And what have we heard?
Good question.
Also, anybody can ask questions if you like, as always, if you feel like it.
Yeah. So I think that I notice that you are let me see. I mean, you are a big, scary monster on top of me. I noticed that you're not eating me, which I find to be a very
Do you find it
important
sexy
detail.
that I'm not eating you? Are you into it?
I'm very into it. It's
I'm
one of
just
my
looking at
favorite
how
things
this is where the
about you.
smooch mechanics are.
Yeah. You've got that sort of snubby, bullet-shaped head with the mouth full of small human teeth, right? And I think that's just looming above me, and I'm like, at least it's not coming down on me. That's great. Do you have like what's the inside of your mouth like? Actually, now that I'm getting a better look at it.
It's just, upon first look, it's just a cotton tunnel that goes down deeply. But I think there's a cotton tongue that lifts up with that sort of cotton candy shreddy pull, and beneath it you can see the little wet eyeball just nestled there, looking
Oh,
at you
fun!
from underneath the tongue.
Very good.
Yeah, it blinks at you seductively.
I mean, it can only wink.
Yeah.
So great.
It sort of looks at you, and meanwhile, I think Three Penny's body is like heaving above you, like the material that it's made out of is like rippling and doing some just unfortunate, strange things. But the head itself, where it's hanging like a beehive in front of you, is fairly still.
Nice.
Um,
Amazing. So what do you notice about me?
I notice how tempting you are, as always. And I notice how much like food you smell. And I wonder what you taste like.
Nice. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will conduct our liaison by conversing naturally as much as is possible. in this
A
group.
nice light conversation.
During the conversation, either of us may begin an exchange by making an advance whenever it seems right. The other then makes an answer to conclude the exchange. This is one of my favorite scenes, a nice consent-based scene that makes it possible to play out super intense situations like this, potentially safely. There is an eyes everywhere option for if we run the risk of being caught together. I don't think that really applies here. So, to end our liaison at any time after the third exchange, any other player can interrupt by having someone else walk into the scene, or we can just continue the conversation until we reach a natural conclusion, parting ways or drawing a curtain over what follows, which could have a lot of implications in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think it feels natural for you to make the first move here.
Okay. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum. These are all so good, these questions.
They're
These are
very
very good. Oh my golly. Oh my goodness. Okay. I would like to make an advance. And I reach to cup your cheek in my hand. May I?
Nice. Is it the same spot as earlier? That's
Yeah.
great. And what are you reaching with?
Great question. I think I know. Three Penny, as you're not actively running anymore, Three Penny sucks its body in and shrinks itself to the size of a woman. And I think the camera favors a familiar pair of blue jeans and short boots with practical heels and a notepad in one hand, and it pans up and it's Miranda's body with no face. And I think Three Penny, if it may, I just let me know how this plays out. We'll reach out with a copy of Miranda's hand and we'll try and just gently touch your cheek. But I think the hand is trembling.
That's very good. So I think I'm gonna say you may, but first I want you to do blank. Will you? So as you're reaching out, the hand is just coming up in slow motion, and she reaches up and just touches a couple of fingers to your wrist to stop you moving just before you make contact. And before you can touch my cheek, I want you to turn back out of this form. So she says, no, I know you're not her. That's not who you
Oh
really are.
my god! Okay, yes. So, okay, so as you do that, I think, of course, Threepenny is shocked. Like, as you do that and express this desire, the body that was just copying what it saw of Miranda suddenly, like, you know how in Studio Ghibli films the characters sometimes like their hair ruffles for some reason and it just like activates. That sort of happens with Threepenny, and just like all the fibers like lift up and away melts the facade, revealing instead, honestly, it kind of looks like the Michelin Man. It's like this poofy, like it's not super. It's just a thing. It looks like cotton puffs all up in itself with the same kind of head, and its little paw still hovers by your cheek.
Nice. And I think I sort of move my head just a little bit from a fraction forward so it brushes against you.
Yeah, it's soft.
Nice. Glad that wasn't one of the bits with wire inside. So I think I have a look of satisfaction. I've finally gotten the answer to this mystery that has been haunting my dreams. And I say, so that's what you look like. I like it. And
if you say you like it, I think Threepenny makes like kind of a noise, like a weird little like whatever that was, like a chirping purr thing. I think it turns itself to reveal a more attractive view of its amorphous, same way as ever body.
That's great. Showing off.
Like a bird.
Yeah. That's so good. And I think I'm I've been like slowly pulling myself up off the ground, using the arcade machine to like pull myself up. So I have gotten back to my feet. And I say, look, I'm not supposed to talk to you. It's in the manual, but I think we might have gotten past that point. And I reach into my pocket and I pull out another copy, or is it the same one, of my card, and start like turning it over nervously in my hands, and we can see her name on there, Isabel, and then the smudge under it. And she is sort of speaking contemplatively to herself and says, you can get big and scary, and that was a lot of teeth, but I'm not defenseless, The hotel protects its own. All I have to do is just rip this card, and it'll keep me safe. It'll keep me. I know, because I've had to do it before once, and the camera pans in on the smudge where her last name used to be. And then she sort of like is rubbing the card between her fingers, and she says, but I don't think I need to do that. Do I? And I sort of hold the card out and I let go of it, and it flutters down to the floor.
Let's smash cut real quick to Miranda, like in her room, and she has a thought. She's like, I should ask Isabel about the pool. And then she's like digging her shit. Where did that card go?
Where did it go?
Where did it go?
Oh, that's great. So I think that I'm going to reach out to wrap my fingers around your wrist. May I?
Yes.
Nice. So I think she's like feeling the the weird cottony texture. And what does it feel like?
It feels like sort of like pulled pork, sort of meaty and like frondy, and it's just sort of, yeah, it smells good, like pork.
Amazing.
And I think it's like when you touch an anemone, like the pork strands that are not, they look like cotton, sort of flutter around and sort of grip a little bit, like acknowledging that touch. And I think that Three Penny pointedly, I think the eyeball has come out of a nostril that is formed and it's looking at you, but it didn't look at the card when the card fell. It's just focused on you.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. I think it's kind of a cool sensation touching that. This is a question I would only ask in this game, but I want to like burrow deeper into your arm and feel what it's like in there. May I?
Oh my goodness. Yes, get in there. This is so gross. I love it.
Amazing.
I don't know what's going to happen. This is all ad-lib.
Yep,
perfect.
Same. Okay, cool. What does the wire part feel like, or is it in there? Does it just feel soft?
I think it feels like veins. Yeah.
Nice.
Like little tubes with fluid, but yeah.
Fluid, you say? We'll leave that.
I think as you're doing this, by the way, as you're experiencing this, the Three Penny got excited. And I think if you open your eyes, you'll see that they've swallowed like almost up to your shoulder, and they've paused and frozen there, and they're not going any further, but the eyeball is looking at you.
That's really cute. So I think I'm going to look down at the eyeball, which is like right next to me now, right? That's great. And I'll say, in kind of a slightly dreamlike voice, I saw you in the billiards room. I looked up and the whole ceiling was just covered in that soft, cottony material just all up above me, and I wondered what it would be like if it fell on me and I was just all wrapped up in it. Is that a thing that you can do?
So you're asking Three Penny to give you a hug?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Or
sure.
like to engulf me, I think.
That's the same as a hug for it.
Yeah.
I think it pauses as you say this. Hope everybody's okay with vor. And it's
consensual
sort of like,
vor.
Yeah, consensual. I think it just goes and like folds itself over you like fondant, and just you're just being hugged by a cotton monster, and it feels just kind of like cotton, and it's not hard to breathe or anything, and you get the sense that you could swim out of it, but
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
I think Three Penny makes a very delighted noise.
That's great. Let's draw a curtain upon what follows then, if that sounds like a good stopping point to you.
Yes, just yank that curtain.
5:58. We got 2 minutes to spare. We're great at this.
Thank you for your patience, everybody. That was an experience we shared.
Yeah.
We all shared it.
We were all there, and it was weird.
Yes, it's good to be weird.
This game is amazing.
Yeah. So for ending play, we have two options: either attempting to escape the hotel for good, or leaving our characters living in the hotel indefinitely. It sounds like we're pretty much on the track to the latter. So you'll bring up any unresolved questions you have about your characters and say what you think the outcome might be. There's a slightly complicated system for like having other people contribute ideas, and then you vote to see which one you like to pick. I'm going to say for our stream purposes, we might want to just simplify that. Maybe just say a little vignette of a moment in the future of something that's going on with your character sometime as they stay in the hotel for the rest of eternity.
So my original thought for Miranda was that she would eventually become hotel staff.
Ooh.
Yes.
But I want to amend that slightly, given events, and ask if it's okay if, for the way like one penny developed and got absorbed with this other anomaly, and then has softboard this other staff member. if like, I don't want to say infected, but like maybe Miranda becomes like a host to a part of Three Penny and is like hotel staff, but is also like lives in the corner of the ceiling sometimes.
Yeah.
Like that's the break room is like the corner.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So you occasionally just see like a puff of cotton smoking a cigarette or something.
Oh my gosh, that's
so
amazing.
Good.
And I was
You're
like,
the ultimate journalist.
Yeah. And she would I guess she would be like a bellhop or something. Or no, she would be like a bartender, but like the bartender that's never actually there. So like the phantom bartender that's also
cool.
Anomaly.
That's fun. All right, whoever would like to go can go next. And yes, if you want to bless our wonderful characters as they make their exits with a donation, we need just a little bit more to get over the $600 mark.
I have a scene. I have a closing scene for Three Penny. I think this is at some indeterminable point in the future, and we see that some of the furniture, it's like very minute in the background as we're getting this kind of final pan around, but the furniture looks like it's been needle felted. It looks like it's made out of cotton now, a lot of it, not all. And I think that I'm not sure what Isabel is doing, and I don't want to step on any toes, but I do think my vision is that Three Penny often chooses to form itself as a really heavy woolen coat that you could wear if you feel like it around.
That's
and sometimes,
so cute.
Sometimes the coat grows a mouth with many teeth and eats things spontaneously while you're wearing it, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, that's very good.
Like right under, it's like fur lined, and then like, but under the fur is just like rows of human teeth. Like,
and like the hood is lined with teeth as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
Actually, that rolls really well into what I was thinking of. So I think, we're just gonna get slightly anime at the end. So we see Isabel going up to the set of doors for where the pool is closed, and she's wearing this woolen 3 penny coat, and then she like holds her hand out, and the fuzz of it sort of flows over her hand into a glove, and then she like forms it into a fist, and like teeth grow up on her knuckles, and then she just reaches back and just punches into the doors, and they just shatter apart, and the metal like twists and flies off. And we can see finally the pool room has been opened once and for all. And she looks down at the fallen over sign that says "Don't" on the back, and just reaches down and scrubs her hand across the last couple of letters and mars them out, so it says "Do."
Oh,
that's so much. And I think if you don't mind me piggybacking a little bit, I think Amelia is there when you finally do that, waiting.
Hell yeah.
And what's in the courtyard is not the courtyard is just brilliant, blinding white light. And when Amelia steps through into the light, having now spent who knows how long, but it's well over 100 years, she steps back out into the English countryside in a village that she knows well, with her luggage in a suitcase at her side, and she hears a voice calling her in the distance.
Oh, that's so good.
That's so sweet.
Oh, yes.
Finally, Amelia.
Oh, Amelia X Elsie for life.
Mm.
Amazing. All right, well, that's Hotel California as she is played.
Whoa.
There
This
are
is
some
good.
more
It's
extensive
a
ending
really good game.
mechanics that you can get into if you want to literally burn down the house, which I really want to try sometime. But we got it in. We got it in 3 hours, y'all. That was pretty good. It's hard to
Wow.
get a Firebrands game in 3 hours.
Wow. That was a very cool experience.
This was
Yeah, thank you so
Wow.
much.
I want to check in with you, Whitney. Was it okay that Three Penny used Miranda's appearance? I should have asked beforehand.
Oh no, yeah, it was great.
Okay.
I was just
Thank you.
yelling about getting thinged.
That was
Oh, okay.
perfect.
John Carpenter's
Okay.
The Thinged. But that's
Yeah.
actually, I think that's part of why I wanted her like Fade to Black ending to be like, is it Miranda?
Ah,
Or is
indeed.
it not?
Yeah,
Indeed. Okay. Okay.
that's so
Cool.
cool.
Beautiful.
Well, thanks so
Wow.
much, Jeff, for hosting us as well. And
Thank you.
everyone in
Yeah.
chat. That was a lovely and bizarre
hey.
journey to go on.
You just won a copy of Tales from the Loop.
I just want a copy of Tales from the Loop.
Yeah. Get dunked on, chat.
Beautiful.
You got to be a player to win.
You should still donate to Extra Life, though. You guys, we can get to 666, and there's another. I decided to have a personal goal for Jess's fundraiser, and it's for $6.99 or $6.69. Either one.
There you go.
So many good numbers. All
Or
right.
$6.96 also works too.
And definitely support Marn S., the author of this game is amazing. You should check out all of her stuff. She has a bunch of really cool games. She also has a great podcast, the Argonauts podcast, where she talks about ARGs and like gives cool postmortems about them and stuff. That's very, very surreal and weird. I recommend the This Is My Milwaukee episodes, or if you liked this, you'll probably like that as well. There's going to be more games and more giveaways going on over this weekend, so keep tuned to this channel. And by keep tuned to this channel, I mean you can't, because it's going to raid Viditi Valetti, who is an amazing game designer. That'll be happening in just a sec. Before that, let's go around one last time and tell the people what your deal is, plug any projects you're working on, all that good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll start with Whitney as usual, I guess.
Hi, I'm Whitney. I am at Whitney Abu on Twitter, which just put in the chat. I actually just built a new computer, so I was going to try to start streaming a little bit more. But I put a lot of myself into my character this afternoon because I am a documentarian, but trying to move into game design, and I love playing games. And so if anybody ever needs like players on their streams or play testers or anything like that, hit me up on Twitter. That's me.
All right, Al.
Okay, my name is Al. My Twitter is Al_Lukehart. And I am a professional illustrator, and I do a lot of indie tabletop games, a lot. So feel free to check out my work on my portfolio, which is lukehartstudio.com, or just, I don't know, Twitter it up like all the normal people do. Yeah. Thanks
As
for
you'd
having
expect,
me.
Al has a bunch of very good monsters in their portfolio. Extremely
I paid you to
polished.
say that. Thank
Well, I
you.
paid you to draw my Twitter profile pic, and it looks fantastic. So,
yeah.
I'm just gonna go through and drop a follow on everybody on this call.
Yep, I'm
right
gonna be doing
now.
that in a
heck
moment.
yeah.
Oh, I should do that too.
I love when you make friends playing games. It's so good. Games are good, actually.
Actually, games are good.
Yes.
Danielle, what you got for us?
Hello, I am Danielle. I'm at RyRacontor on Twitter. You can follow me there. Also, if you're super into cosplay, I am also super into cosplay. So come join me for fun costume shenanigans. I'm in the middle of Halloween right now, so I have one more Halloween costume to show off tomorrow. So tune in for that. I'm not in any regular games right now, but I will be on Off the Table later tonight playing Trophy Dark at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time, but 9:30 Pacific time. So if you are into spooky treasure hunting in creepy forests, you should definitely come join us for Trophy Dark later. And I have an adventure coming out in the next zine of Eat the Rich. So if you have been following the Eat the Rich adventure collection for D&D, it is anti-capitalist adventures. So come,
yeah.
the next episode is healthcare themed. So you can find my adventure in that zine when it comes out in hopefully another week or two. Keep your eyes peeled.
Would people just find that on the DM's Guild or somewhere else?
It's on Drive Thru RPG.
Okay, good to know.
Yes.
Oh, we just got up to 620 in donations. Heck
Oh my
yeah!
god,
Yeah!
that
Thank you
happened
so much.
suddenly.
You blew past that 600 mark. Beautiful.
Wow. We got a sugar penny.
Yeah.
Cool.
Somebody needs to do $46. Let's do that math.
and
and
not
we're
a
good.
dime more.
No more. Do not. No. Okay. Actually, do keep going after that.
Do keep it going.
For charity. It's
Yeah.
not just to get to fun numbers, but it's also to get to fun numbers, right?
But it's mostly it's for the children.
Yes. As for myself, I'm Alex Guerrero. You can find me on Twitter at Fractal Dragon. I design games at fractaldragon.itch.io. I am also on a couple of very cool streams right now. Viditya Valetti, who we're going to be rating in just a second, is one of my favorite game designers and is also one of my co-stars on Haven, a Land Reclaimed on Wednesdays on All Nerds Here. Really great, all BIMPOC, post-colonial, very cool world building. We've got like mechs that are powered by the spirits of the land. It's a great time. And then on Friday, every other Friday, I am on Chimera Cape and Blade, which is on Utopia. Really cool system with some very good superhero fantasy mashups, and another great All BIM podcast as well. So check those out. They're going to be really fun. Rue in the chat is also on Haven and is the best. I think that's all my cool stuff for now. Oh, I've just started streaming video games. So if you want to watch me like play some Hades or something, that is on my twitch.tv/fractaldragon, and we have a good time. Thanks so much for everyone in the chat. Thank you, Jess, for hosting us. And I think we are about ready. Yes, we're rating. We're rating on to Viditya. Yay. Stay tuned for Viditya's stream. It's always so fun. He's doing some great Halloween content, and it's the best.
Wait, how do I?
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.